Hey everyone, thank you for tuning into this week's video on the Spark Your Speaking channel. Today I'm going to explain what non-verbal cues are and how they can help elevate your public speaking. My name is Kathy Lee and I'm your public speaking coach. It's not enough to have a good message or deliver your words in a clear and concise manner, though it does help and it's important. But what will really make you stand out as a public speaker and presenter and have people remember who you are your non-verbal cues. So let's dive into some of the non-verbal cues that can help enhance your delivery. Number one, posture. You always want to make sure that both your feet are planted about shoulder width apart if you are standing up. Sometimes people will shift their weight from one foot to the next. They can sway back and forth, or they can stand on one foot and tuck the other one behind. All of these stances gives the impression that you are nervous or unsure, even if you feel that way. By planting both your feet and keeping your knees soft, not locked, and not moving repetitively from side to side or back and forth, you will at least give off the impression that you are confident, capable, and controlled. Now, whether you are standing or sitting, your posture is important. These days, so many of us have gotten into the habit of slouching. This is not what you want to do because slouching gives off a weak or closed impression. So practice pulling yourself up tall, whether you're standing or sitting. Imagine there's a string coming out of your head, okay? And pulling you up. As for your shoulders, roll them back and keep them relaxed. By doing this, you have an open position that will make you appear to have energy, presence, and power. This relaxed and open stance, I feel, almost prepares you and gets you ready to perform. It also signals to the audience that you are ready to go. All right, so again, even if you don't feel like you're confident, by just assuming the relaxed power stance and carrying yourself tall, you will at least fool your audience into thinking that you are. And that's the first hurdle, right? Just get them to think that you are, and then hopefully the confidence will eventually come. Well, let's move on to the second non-verbal cue, and that's facial expression. Many of us pull facial expressions without even realizing that we do, and we also aren't aware of how it comes across. Some people blink too much, others not enough. Some have a constant scowl, or maybe they are inadvertently rolling their eyes or giving a side eye. Maybe when you're saying something, you're a forehead scruncher, and you do that while you're saying something where you shouldn't be doing it. So the reason why it's so important to be mindful of this is because in addition to verbal cues we rely on to get information from each other by talking, we also rely on non-verbal cues to get and receive messages as well. So your facial expression is going to give away more about how you feel about your message than the actual words you say. We want to make sure that the words that are coming out of your mouth are matching what we're seeing on your face. You don't want to be delivering happy news, but you look like it's the worst thing that you've ever said. Before I continue, I want to share with you that I've created an intense 2.5-hour public speaking program called Ace Your Public Speaking. It's robust, it's comprehensive, it's a one-stop shop, it's online, it's a master class, and it will dive into the concepts that I'm teaching you today, but you also get to learn all the other tools and concepts that you need to know to excel as a public speaker. This is a very popular program of mine that many students around the world have had the opportunity to learn from, so I highly recommend it. To access it, all you have to do is head to my website, sparkyourspeaking.com. Again, it's called Ace Your Public Speaking, and you can access it at sparkyourspeaking.com. All right, the third nonverbal cue we need to discuss is eye contact. One of the most challenging but important parts about public speaking is eye contact. You might not be surprised to learn that some people feel uncomfortable looking at another person in the eye when they speak, and they may make brief eye contact, but then they might look down or away or sideways. Now imagine doing that when you're at a job interview or having an important lunch with someone. It's the quickest way for you to lose credibility. Lack of eye contact also gives off the message that you lack self-esteem. There's shame, there's deceit, maybe extreme anxiety, or you're not being truthful, or you're being rude. So it's important to keep those eyes locked on the other person. Now, this isn't to say that you need to stare intently into their soul like this, okay, because you could freak them out. Just be mindful that you are spending the majority of the time focused on them when you guys are talking. Now, if you're speaking to someone one-on-one, you only have one person to focus on. If you're speaking to a camera on your phone or on your computer, focus on that point. But what do you do when you're in front of an audience and there's a lot of people there? Where exactly do you look when there's so many people? Well, don't be afraid to make eye contact with someone in the moment if you're addressing them or talking to them, even if it's a room full of people. So sometimes I'll ask a question to the audience and then I'll lock eyes with one person and maybe they'll be nodding their head or responding to me. I might even acknowledge what they say and say, oh, so-and-so agrees. And then I'll shift my focus to another individual and mix it up, but I'll focus on them and I'll look at them, right? You don't want to just focus on one individual because you might make them feel uncomfortable. So have a few focal points in the audience and balance that out, right? But make sure that if you are asking questions or you are addressing the audience in some way or interacting with them in some way, look at someone. The other thing that will help bring your audience in is to smile at them. So if you're looking at them, don't be afraid to smile, because smiling can totally disarm a person. And if they smile back, it can put you at ease and calm your nerves. Of course, only smile if it makes sense. If you're talking about something, tragic or sad, maybe a smile doesn't work. But if you're asking everyone how they're doing at the beginning of your spiel, make eye contact with someone and throw in a smile, because it does go a long way. All right, let's move on to gestures. Gestures are good and can enhance your speech or story that you're telling, but the key is that the gesture is clear and appropriate and that you're not doing it so much that it becomes distracting. For advanced speakers, they may use certain gestures to hammer home a point or highlight another point. However, as I mentioned, there is a fine line between an effective gesture and one that turns into a distracting habit. My big advice is to keep your hands and arms resting by your side, not stiff and straight, but just in a relaxed position. You could also do it just right in front of you as well. You can always go back to these default positions if you feel like you don't know what to do. All right? Well, that's all for today, everyone. Remember to join our public speaking community by hitting the subscribe button below to continue to get weekly public speaking and training videos that are all free. Also hit the bell so that you are alerted whenever I put out a video. If you liked this video and you found it helpful, make sure to hit the button below, the like button below, and share so that others can benefit as well. And if you have any topic ideas or any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. And if you would like to learn more about the other public speaking programs that I offer, go to my website, sparkyourspeaking.com. See you next week.